Both law enforcement and military personnel protect our freedoms. One of those freedoms is to vote for whatever candidate we want to vote for. I have no advice to give to law enforcement personnel or military personnel about who they should vote for. This video is for the families of law enforcement and military personnel. Yesterday, Sergeant Harold Preston in Houston, Texas, a police officer for 41 years, 65 years old, was killed in the line of duty by an illegal immigrant who is also a convicted criminal. In Greenville, South Carolina, Master Deputy Sheriff Conley Jumper, 52 years old, 28 years with the county sheriff's department, was also killed. President Trump's campaign promises include the hiring of more police and increasing penalties for assault on law enforcement officers. Former Vice President Biden's campaign promises, well, let's just say I can't find any campaign promises associated with former Vice President Biden and clearly stating what he thinks should be done for law enforcement. Additionally, President Trump, as we all know, has been a strong advocate to build a wall on the southern border. Over 400 miles have been constructed as of today, and 450 should be done by the end of this year. That's a 30-foot wall, 450 miles of it along our border, to protect our border patrol from illegal immigrants. Not all, but some are criminals. Yesterday's shootings would not have occurred in Houston if an illegal immigrant who was a convicted criminal had not been there. I also believe that both deaths may not have occurred if our culture was not swinging away from respecting our police, away from complying with police orders. President Trump wants to improve that culture for police respect, while former Vice President Biden's party has members that have been paying the bail for people that have been arrested by the police for violent actions. They get released back to the street. And what do you think they do? So here's the question. In the future, who would be doing a better job of preventing similar deaths than what occurred yesterday in Houston and Greenville, South Carolina? I strongly recommend that all families of law enforcement officers vote for President Trump. Regarding military personnel, President Trump has 5 campaign promises for the 2020 campaign associated with improving safety of military personnel. Number 1, and the probably most important one, is maintain a strong military. He's been doing that, and he's going to be doing it. What does former Vice President Biden or his party say on that subject? History shows that the Democratic Party, when it is in charge, always results in a decline in the strength of our military. President Trump also says he'll remain unpredictable in dealing with our potential adversaries. Saying exactly what you're going to do is not a good thing. History has shown also that remaining unpredictable the way that President Trump does keeps our enemies on their back heels. That's a good thing. Third thing, remain energy independent. As we all know in the past, the need for our energy to be imported has resulted in us doing things that we may not have wanted to. We don't have that problem anymore. Former Vice President Biden being elected would result in actions being taken that would reverse those exact actions that allowed us to become energy independent. Therefore, he would be putting the United States of America at risk of getting involved with more foreign wars, therefore putting military personnel at risk. Keep America out of, as he puts it, endless, ridiculous, foolish, stupid foreign wars. And by remaining energy independent, being unpredictable, and having a strong military, he can do that. Former Vice President Biden, however, by not maintaining energy independence, would be putting the United States at risk to get involved with things that would put our military personnel in harm's way unnecessarily. And the 5th campaign promise that President Trump has made regarding this is he would strike down terrorists that threaten American citizens. Well, first of all, a lot of American citizens overseas are military personnel, so that would help. Second of all, if potential terrorists know that they will be dealt with harshly, that potential terrorists would maybe be more hesitant for attacking or threatening Americans if they knew that the United States of America would aggressively go after them. President Trump's words have been followed with, as Theodore Roosevelt calls it, a big stick. With President Trump, potential terrorists and terrorists know that that big stick is there and will be used. I haven't found anything from former Vice President Biden that speaks about dealing with terrorists, except for that he was against the attack on bin Laden. I'd like to point out that President Trump has been a strong advocate of getting the Veterans Administration to properly serve veterans. With VA choice and VA accountability, he has successfully turned the Veterans Administration around with regard to properly serving veterans. In summary, for families of military personnel, keeping a strong military, by the way, with higher pay for military personnel, being unpredictable, striking terrorists down when they threaten us, and keeping us energy independent, all pointed toward keeping us out of the stupid foreign wars, makes me believe, quite honestly, that President Trump is the only choice for keeping our military personnel safe. Once again, I'll say I'm not giving any advice to people that are law enforcement personnel or in the military. I'm speaking to their families. Please support the safety of law enforcement and military personnel by voting for President Trump.